Batman and Robin number 5, written by Peter J. Tomasi, art by Patrick Gleason. We left off last issue with Damian seemingly listening to nobody about his pitch of why he should join him. And this issue picks up with Bruce going out and finding that, yes, Damian chose to go out with nobody. Apparently, he finds a note from Damian. He says, I had to leave, this lie is over. And at that same point, Alfred, I guess, was snooping in Damian's room and found a notebook full of drawings of just the most brutal, like, violence and murder and just bad things. So Bruce is like, he's been filled with this much rage for so long. I've let him slip. This is my fault. I'm going to go get him. We cut over to Damian and Nobody, and it's just a long thing of Nobody just being like, are you ready to take the path that you were destined to join? And Robin's just like, yes, for the love of God, shut up. Yes, I'm ready. But you have yet to demonstrate anything that you're capable, so let's go do this thing. Cut back to Bruce. He's in the Batcave. He's looking over every security camera in Gotham, and he's just trying to catch a glimpse of either Nobody or Damian. And he tells Alfred, all right, you keep an eye on these things. Take a look from, have the footage from the training room set to look for any of that movement on the cameras, and maybe that'll trigger something. I'm going out on the streets, because the streets can talk sometimes more than cameras can, or whatever. And then we have this long thing of him just going around, beating up random thugs, just trying to find a lead on Nobody and Damian, where he's apparently talking in a recording to Damian, explaining like, look, I know we were never going to be a normal family, but this is more than just what your mom did to you. I'm also to blame for this, so on that account, I'm very sorry. Let me tell you why Morgan is such a terrible person, and then we just get his backstory. Henry Ducard was an assassin. He was wanted by like every intelligence agency, and he was paid highly for his services. One day he bumped into a woman named Felicity Strode, and he fell in love. He didn't expect that to happen, so obviously there's a problem of being a world-class assassin and having a family. But as it turns out, Felicity was also an assassin who was hired to kill Ducard. So one day, and they had a kid. One day, the people who hired Felicity caught up with her and told her, hey, you should have been killing Ducard. What's going on? She's like, I fell in love with him. And they're like, okay, cool. So either you kill him or we're going to torture your child. So Felicity, at one point, she was on the phone saying, okay, yes, I'll do it. I'll kill my husband. And Morgan, who is now maybe like 14, 15 years old, it looks like, had heard this and saw his mom saying that, so he went and killed his own mother. Henry Ducard came back and was like, what did you do? And Morgan told his father everything and convinced him that he was the only one he could trust. So then he brought Morgan into the family business, trained him up, and then Bruce Wayne got involved. He was looking for Henry Ducard to train under him. And finally, after poking his nose around in places he shouldn't be, Morgan attacked him. Bruce got the upper hand on Morgan because he had already finished his training with some kung fu masters. And so Henry trains a gun on Bruce, and he's like, what do you want, Bruce Wayne? And he's like, I want to train under you because you're the best. And Henry laughs and apparently takes him on, but we don't see what happens next. We cut back to Damian and Nobody. They're going out. Apparently there are some human traffickers that Nobody wants to take care of. Robin gets his cape cut off of him because he's like, we're not here to make a show. We're here to kill people. So they go in. It's this really interesting double-page spread that has like at least 20 to 30 panels on it. Not a lot of dialogue, just showing them breaking in and killing everyone involved. Robin makes sure that the people who are unaware of what was going on, like security guards that were not on the take or anything like that, they just get hurt. They don't get killed. But when we finally get into the room of the guy who is in charge of it, Nobody hands a gun over to Damian and says, all right, you're up. Shoot him in the head. And that's where we leave off on the issue. So the biggest part of this issue is Batman talking to Damian and explaining how Ducard was. And of course that is for us as the audience rather than any actual storytelling thing. But the page before that, where he goes through and he just talks about like yeah, this isn't all your mom's doing. I'm also to blame for how messed up you are. I wasn't a good father. I really like this page because it's showing him being really, really brutal just to get his son back. And then they got on the other side here of him finding like the uh, bug that he took out of his belt in order so he couldn't be tracked. Like, it's got a good thing going on here. I really like that. In terms of the entire Ducard story, it's fine. I feel like this isn't something that needed to be explored. Like, okay, he was an assassin and his wife did something. Like, fine, whatever. I got the gist of it just from what we know about him from the last 4 issues. I don't really feel like we needed this whole big thing, but regardless, the other side of it with Damien and Nobody, it's fine, but it is all going to come to a head on the next issue. Like, this just feels like set up to have that cliffhanger at the end. So we'll see where it goes from there. Overall, I'm giving this issue a 7. Art is pretty good. I have problems with them when they're out of costume, just looking like people. I don't know what it is. I think it's too heavy of inks or something like that on the eyes. I couldn't tell you. Something about the eyes, I'll tell you that much. But when they're in costume, it looks totally fine. So, yeah, 7 for this. Looking forward to next issue.